Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Derek DelGaudio's in and of itself on Hulu was a crazy experience, a very powerful experience, an experience that had me in tears multiple times throughout the show. I went in blind. I had no idea what it was, just heard it recommended on other podcasts. As I do, I'm normally going into these movies and things fairly blind as possible. So I had no idea what it was. I didn't know if it was a documentary. I didn't know if it was a movie. I didn't know if it was a series. But it is a unique mix of magic and storytelling, I would say, in the most powerful of ways. I mean, it's very much storytelling with like magical elements in it. And like it seriously like had me very emotional watching this thing. It does a lot of things. There's an aspect to it that I almost had like deja vu, where it felt like I had seen, and maybe I had seen like a TED talk that he kind of discussed part of it. There's part of this show. It's a stage, basically it's a filmed stage performance. He did like 500 and some days of doing this performance in a theater in New York, I think in a row. I'm not sure if it's in a row, because part of that performance is he's talking about how back in the day, when people would sail from, country to country, there was a ship log, and the ship log would detail that day and the directions they're going, and all of the different things as like a living document, a reminder of how they got there, where they went. But on days when the clouds were above head and they couldn't see the stars, they had to basically make up a story or make up something, make up the information to put in there. Even though they couldn't see it, they had to make it up because it had to be filled in. So there's an aspect of this story, of the stage performance, where he takes a single member of the audience and has them do a similar thing, where they take the person from the previous day comes in with this giant book, and they read. Basically, they saw half of the, I think maybe more than half of the show the previous day, and then they were asked to leave at some point, whether it's halfway through or 3/4 of the way through the show. They're asked to leave, and they're told to write in the book everything that they had seen, everything they had witnessed in the time that they were there, and then they're also asked to write down what they imagine happened, how the show ended. And they come in and they read their complete passage to the audience, and then later on in the show, the person chosen in the new audience is told to do the same thing, and they're kicked out. And that aspect of it, that kind of book that it has both what really happened and what imaginary happened. Like, it's a book that balances between the imaginary and the real, which is kind of a metaphor for the entire show itself. It feels like I'd seen that somewhere, and I probably a TED Talk if I had to guess where I'd seen that somewhere, or talked about. I don't know, and I believe there's more of a bigger meaning to that, but it's not really focused on as much. You don't really. There's like a montage of all of the people who were there before coming back to read and kind of talk about the things. But when that part happens in the show, you still haven't seen the show yet as a viewer. So it's like filling in stuff that you don't even know what's real. This whole show is about not knowing what's real or what's fake. Starts off with a story about a guy who gets famous and rich doing Russian roulette. And then that is also a metaphor for the entire kind of show itself. But just like powerful moments of him talking about like the golden hour at the end of the day, and how back in the day it would be a cautionary tale to tell their kids to make sure they get home before then, because at that time of day it's very difficult to see who's a dog and who's a wolf, because it's hard to just with the light coming straight at you. The object would have to get close enough to you to for you to identify whether it's a dog or a wolf. And by that time it's too late. If it's a wolf, you're already in trouble. So it's kind of that tipping point between uh what the reality of the situation is versus what your perception of the situation is. And this whole thing is very much about perception. It's about how you perceive yourself, how you identify as yourself, what the type of person you feel you are, in addition to how other people view you, and how those things can be. It's very similar to the book, where it's yourself, at least hopefully you do, and then everybody else's perception of you is kind of a story that they've made up in their head based on just kind of what they've been able to perceive. Very kind of very deep, very, and just the reflection of oneself is very powerful. All the members of the audience are told to grab these cards before the show. It's like this giant wall, and all the cards say "I am," and then you're supposed to, and then it says a thing like "I am an artist," "I am a searcher," "I am a mother," "I am," like like just hundreds of different things that a person could be, and they're asked to take a card that they feel identifies them. Um, and then they kind of, they throughout that he'll pull cards from that deck and talk to different people. There's a scene where he takes these letters. Uh, Behind him, there's like four little windows that kind of relate to the stories that he's telling. And in one of the windows it's like little mailboxes, and he takes 10 letters out of these little little mail slots, and then he calls upon somebody in the audience. I forget how they're selected. Maybe he just asked for a volunteer, I don't remember. But they come up, and he gives them all the envelopes that he just pulled out of these little mail slots, and he asks them to go through and choose. These are all letters that were mailed to him, and he says, go through and choose one that means the most to you. And then he asks, like, who is like a person that like appreciates you the most, and they tell him. And then they open the letter, and then the letter ends up being from the person that means so much to them, or they mean so much to them. And it's like this heartfelt letter, including like real shit, like real stuff that only they would know, like inside stuff. And it's just, there's this montage of all these different shows with that. It's just like mind-blowing, these magic tricks that he does. That I mean, the letter part got me that got me in my core. The very end of the performance, he goes through, and like anybody that wants to stand up can stand up, and he starts guessing all of the cards that they chose. So it's like an audience, like 30 people are standing up in the crowd, and he's going like, "Oh, you're the humble one. Oh, you're the son. You're the student. You're the architect. You're the leader." And it's just like nails all of, like, he does like 20 of them, and then he's like, if I got yours right, sit down. And all 20 people sit down, and it's like, what the fuck? And then you start seeing him go through, and people are like getting emotional. I'm getting emotional watching it. There's so many cameos in that scene as well. Like, for instance, the leader was Bill Gates. There was that artist, I don't know if anybody saw online, there was that artist that did an installation where she just sits at a table, and then people come up and sit down in front of her, and they just like look at each other, and it gets to be like this emotional thing with just staring at each other. She's in the audience. There's just like a bunch of cameos of people that are like, which I would imagine if I lived in New York and I heard about that show going on, I would have to. It's like a show that you would have to go to just to like experience it. Would be mind blowing. But yeah, just like one of the most difficult things to kind of articulate into words to describe, but also one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. Like one of the by far one of the best magic shows I've ever seen, and it's not because of the magic. It is because of the magic, but it's also because of how that magic is tied into the stories that require that kind of magic to occur. And it just it's mind blowing. There's card tricks that are amazing. There's the cards that are amazing. It's just mind blowing, mind blowing. I highly recommend everybody check out Derek DelGaudio's in and of itself. It is a powerful piece of art. You know, like it's the closest thing to having pure magic in reality, and it was just so heartwarming and so powerful. And yeah, highly recommend checking it out. Kindle Unlimited. Are you somebody who likes to read books? Get yourself a subscription to Kindle Unlimited, starting off with your free trial when you go through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle. We all know what Kindle is. It's the electronic book company where you can read unlimited books, unlimited listening, unlimited devices, unlimited stuff, unlimited potential, unlimited imagination, unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. InspiredDisorder.com/Kindle for Kindle Unlimited. Free trial of Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited. InspiredDisorder.com/Kindle Unlimited. Reading, listening, any device. Unlimited. InspiredDisorder.com/Kindle. Sign up now. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/InspiredDisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at InspiredDisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!